Generous is even money, but it's now just gone odds on Generous. It's 9 to 10 on is the price against Generous. Odds on at last, and 6 odds on chances have won the Arc. Suave Dancer 4.5 to 1, that's 9 to 2. Coupling, Pistolet Bleu and Art Bleu, 6 to 1 chances. Snurge is 8.3 to 1, with Magic Night a 9 to 1 chance. 2 Laurent Quest of Fame there, coupled at 9.5 to 1. 18 to 1 against Pigeon Voyageur. In the Groove, nearly double carpet, 33 to 1. Miss Alleged is a 41 to 1 chance, with Jet Ski Lady, 41.3 to 1. And no Oaks winner has ever won the Arc. And El Senor, the American colt, way out in the betting now to 43.2 to 1. El Senor and Shamshir, the complete outsider, 87 to 1. But they're betting odds on Generous now.
It's amazing that not even Mac on an occasion like this resorts to calling the outsider, a Group 1 winner, Shamshir, as the rag. But she's one of several fillies in the field. The horse is much more relaxed now they've had a canter. Amongst those fillies, or mares, is In the Groove, who's as strong as any animal in the field. There she is, great, big, powerful, round barrel filly. It is fair to say that she hasn't really run up to her best most of the season. Well, she started off so well, and showed her old turn of foot in the Coronation Cup. But John, last year she came here very fancied, and Richard Fox was the last-minute substitute. Richard had never ridden her before, and was in a big field, got into all sorts of trouble. As you said earlier, no pressure really on Steve.
No, none at all on Steve, and she looks fantastic, I must say. And if she reproduces that run that she showed in the Coronation Cup, certainly she's got a chance. Well, let's have a look at the St. Leger winner, Toulon. He's just behind In the Groove. And although, as you heard Max said, it's apart from Ballymoss, no other horse has won St. Leger and come here to win an Arc, I must admit that although the credentials, they aren't good, the omens aren't good anyway, this horse did win the St. Leger by 15 lengths from the third horse himself, and Sadler's Hall pulled an awful long way clear, and I don't think he's a forlorn hope by any chance.
He surprised me there, John, because I thought he got badly outpaced at Doncaster, and the point about him winning here is I would have thought, and you as a jockey would know much better than me, he's not an easy ride. He was more or less cajoled past horses rather than driven past. He doesn't look as though he's a sort of animal you could ride like that, and he's going to be off the bridle here. I
agree with you there. He won't be an easy horse to place, but I think he's got the ideal jockey on board, because Pat, the one thing that he won't do is panic, and I think he'll sit through, and if they're going to go the gallop, I think they will. I think Jet Ski Lady, certainly to go on and take them along at a good clip. I could just see this horse running through in the final stages with Pat not doing an awful lot on him, and taking a hand in the finish.
Many people will be backing Pat Edery to win his 5th Arc. He's won 4, as has Freddie Head, and you can just see how packed those stands are from those pictures. Wonderful scene. Yet another classic winner, though, is Jet Ski Lady. We've yet to see her. Here she is now for you. Rather dull chestnut filly, but there's nothing dull about her style of racing. She goes all the way and did so in the Oaks. The ground we've got here probably isn't soft enough to really suit her and destroy some of the others' chances, but it's better than she's had on her last 2 starts, and she could run well.
Yeah, she's a relentless galloper. Now let's have a look at the filly that I like. The dam was bought for £250. Jim showed me a newspaper cutting this morning. It's got quite a lovely story about the owner and how she acquired the dam of Magic Night, and she really is, there's not much of her. Somebody said she'd never win a beauty contest. Well, I think that's probably right, but having said that, she's probably beautiful in the eyes of the owner, and she's certainly got a lot of ability, and she's been turned out looking absolutely magnificent here.
You've always been a bit of an expert on beauty contests, haven't you?
Well, only when horses are concerned. There's Generous, just got himself a little bit warm now. Art Bleu keeping him company there, and you see that Frankie Dettori there just in the background had his feet out of the irons on Shamshir, just trying to keep her relaxed, just got on her toes, and Quest for Fame, and he's another one who he's got an each way chance, Jim.
Yes, at his very best, and in the race that's likely to suit him today, a strongly run affair, he has got an each way chance. He did win the Derby like a promising horse. He's had problems since, but he's a classically bred horse. He's by Rainbow Quest and Art winner, Adam Amer, Ariane, who won the Marcel Boussac, in 1979, so he really is bred to be a top-class performer. He hasn't quite had things go his way. He's had an interrupted training campaign once again this season. It's sporting of connections to keep persevering. It would have been easy to maybe go for the Irish ledger, which would have been an obvious target for him. But if they go a good clip and on this ground, he just might run into a place. It's difficult to fancy, though, Shamshir doing that. She looks outclassed on form. But if you've picked her at home and you're seeing her for the first time, don't worry that she's behaving in that manner, because Frankie Dettori describes her as bubbly. I can think of other jockeys who have other words for her. She isn't easy. She's, in short, a fusspot, and she generally works herself up beforehand. Today's no exception.
Yeah, I think I'd rather ride her for a minute than an hour, and certainly on the racecourse rather than around the roads. Her form last time she actually ran here behind Magic Knight, and she's got a fair bit to find. But it's going to be a race of tactics. We've heard that, and I can certainly believe it, that Jet Ski Lady is going to go along and make the run-in. And I wouldn't imagine that Snurge will be too far behind.
No, and also our Bleu, who'll be in to cut out the pace for Pistolet Bleu, because Pistolet Bleu himself takes a really strong hold, and I think Generous will lie handy too. That's all to come, but what we have for you at the moment is more news of better.
And Generous is remaining at odds on. 9 to 10 on, 0.9 to 1. Suave Dancer, still a 9 to 2 chance. Pistolet Bleu, 13 to 2. That's 6.5 to 1, coupled with Art Bleu, the pacemaker. Snurge, some money for that now, 8.4 to 1. Toulon and Quest for Fame, 9.3 to 1. And Andre Fabre, Toulon's trainer, the only trainer with a runner in the race ever to have won the Arc. And he's got Pigeon Voyageur also, who's a 24.3 to 1 chance. Magic Knight, surprisingly good support still for that at 9.6 to 1. The Rags are any price, but 9 to 2 Suave Dancer. Isn't that an each-way bet against Generous?
Going to be Generous is going to be drawn 14 right out the wide outside, with Jet Ski Lady beside him, Suave Dancer just inside that. And the other one who's going to make the pace, there's Alan Munro. He's just got some sweat on him now, Generous, but you'd expect that. The nervous energy's got to pump inside him, because he's going to make that frame really go, but he seems calm, but the energy is pumping inside him, and he's going to need it here. Art Bleu is a pretty good horse in his own right. The leader for Pistolet Bleu, they're drawn 2 and 1, so there's going to be pace on that far side. And remember, you cannot come in from your position unless he drops back behind them, and so Alan Munro's going to have a lot of grass in front of him when they come out.
I very much hope he won't drop back behind them. I hope that he'll follow George Bridgen's advice, be up in the first half dozen all the way if he can on Generous. I believe that's the way to keep out of trouble. But I heard what John Frankham said about Steve Cawthon not having a care in the world on In the Groove. I quite agree with that. I believe Steve will set off to enjoy himself, ride a non-trying race and come through and possibly beat them all. Anyway, get in the shake-up.
The anticipation runs high on days like this. 6 million francs invested, upwards of that, in the Arc de Triomphe. They're getting loaded. Binoculars just about to be raised. Snurge, a little bit difficult down at the stalls. He's a big horse, and as you saw, those of you who were watching yesterday will have seen with Zoman, they can be a bit cheeky, some of the colts, and it's a case of being firm with them. And in the shade of the old windmill or moulin down at the 1.5 mile start, handlers are doing just that. Magic Knight looks like she'll be one of the last. Here's Graham Good for the 1991 Arc de Triomphe.
Set it away they race, and El Senor the Grey loses lengths out of the stalls, looks reluctant to race and is being driven along to hold a position. But it's Art Bleu who takes them along by a length. Quest for Fame second, Pistolet Bleu the rail 4, Generous wide in a good position. Jet Ski Lady can't go the pace to lie up there. Then comes Shamshir and Miss Ledge, followed by Pigeon Voyageur, and then Sturgeon in the groove, and Suave Dancer has just 3 behind. Magic Knight is 1, Toulon another, and at a gap of about 6 to 8 lengths, the American runner El Senor not enjoying himself at this stage. But it's Art Bleu the rail with Jet Ski Lady on the outside, Pistolet Bleu the rail back in third. Generous holds a good position 4. These are followed by Quest for Fame 5, and then Misalege the rail in the check jacket 6, Snurge the yellow colours right of picture, Shamshir the white sleeves in behind them, in the groove mid-division, Pigeon Voyageur the black and yellow hoops mid-division, the grey is El Senor, he's last, and Suave Dancers pulled wide as they go down towards the halfway stage, and it's Art Bleu leading by a length and a half to Pistolet Bleu, and Jet Ski Lady has almost given up the unequal task. Generous, the dark green jacket on the outside of Quest for Fame. Generous is striding closer. He's holding a good position as they pass halfway, but it's still the pacer maker Art Bleu leading. Generous wide in second. Quest for Fame, the pink cap third. Next to the rails, Pistolet Bleu 4. Shamshir wide in 5. Misalege 6. In the groove, sweeps past horses to go 7. And then just in behind these comes Pistolet Bleu, of course, and Suave Dancer is on the outside. Snurge is towards the rear. They've still got one more bend to take, and it's Art Bleu the leader, but Generous going well on the outside. Quest for Fame, the pink cap in between them. In the groove runs a big race. Magic Knight tries to close. Suave Dancers in blue and white picking up. Toulon's force wide on this final turn, and now it's a drive to the line, and it's Pistolet Bleu the rail. Generous giving all down the centre of the track, but Pistolet Bleu has the advantage. From in second place, Quest for Fame. Magic Knight with the red sleeves. Here comes Suave Dancer with a swoop on the outside of In the Groove. They've got a furlong to go, and it's Pistolet Bleu in the lead from Suave Dancer, who has taken a class field apart. This is Suave Dancer. This is a top-class racehorse, and it's Suave Dancer to home now. And it's Suave Dancer from Magic Knight as they come to take the line. It's Suave Dancer's up. He is the winner. Magic Knight is second. Pistolet Bleu is third. A gap of 4 lengths to Toulon in 4. And then Pigeon Voyageur, followed by In the Groove and Generous and Quest for Fame. And then comes El Senor, followed by Misalege. And then Shamshir, and behind Shamshir was Art Bleu, and behind Art Bleu, Jet Ski Lady, who just couldn't live with them. Neither could Snurge, who finished last of all. And so the result then of this Chiga Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe, it's a victory for Cash Asmussen. He has ridden this winner, number 8 on the card. Suave Dancer in the colours of Mr. Henri Chaloub. Trained in France in Chantilly by John Hammond and ridden by Cash Asmussen. And this horse, don't forget, this was a top class race. He has beaten winners of 12 Group 1 races. The winners of 7 classics were in this race, and he's taken the race apart. Generous, however, couldn't get into the race. There he is. But a steward's inquiry has been called. Suave Dancer came wide down the outside, and then he swerved, as is his custom, inside the final furlong, but is clear as he drives to the line. But there is our defeated hero, Generous. There is our winner, Suave Dancer. Second horse home is number 14, Magic Knight, with a third horse home being number 11, Pistolet Bleu.
Well, we're coming round into the straight. This is one of the roughest races I've seen for a long time, and a lot of the trouble is caused by the pacemaker Art Bleu, who moves off the rails to give his stable companion Pistolet Bleu plenty of room. He's already hampered Walter Swinburne on Quest for Fame before that, and earlier Jet Ski Lady hampered Walter. Now watch Pigeon Voyager, who tries to come between Alan Munro. He's short of room at the minute. It really is a bit of a shenanigans there. I don't think the winner, Suave Dancer's involved. I can't see Magic Knight at the minute. There she's with the noseband looking for room. You see Pigeon Voyager's jockeys had to snatch up, and round that final turn nobody was doing anybody any favours.
Yeah, Freddie.
Suave Dancer goes clear and swerves across, but he's always done that. I don't think he causes any trouble. Here he goes now. Steve Cawthon right behind him. You see Steve hasn't had to stop riding, and he's a couple of lengths clear at this point.
Yeah, he's quickened up well away from the others. Neither of them have had to jink or stop riding. He quickened up like a good horse, and it's left the filly with the noseband. She's run on to take second place, run a tremendous race, and the horse who benefited from Art Bleu coming off the rails, Pistolet Bleu, ran on to take third place. Toulon, I thought he ran a blinder, he ran on to take fourth spot.
And it's not the first time that pacemakers used by the Wildenstein team, I'm not meaning it from a sour grapes point of view, from everybody, French, English, Irish, whatever challengers in the race have done this in an Arc de Triomphe, and you simply cannot pull wide on in a top class race where there are a lot of horses. You've got to hold your position, and if Pistolet Bleu being hampered, well then too bad, he was following a horse. But Art Bleu definitely pulled off and caused a lot of trouble. But down now to the closing stages. Let's concern ourselves with the winner. Cash Asmussen rates him a great horse. He has a rush. He said he was going to sit in the catbird position and pounce. He pounced. He went clear. There's little Magic Knight coming through to take second place from Prix. You can expect some press conference when Cash goes in to meet the scribes and his connections. The hyperbole, the allegory, it'll all flow. Cash said he'd class. Cash said he'd rush. And he's shown just how much.
Cash Asmussen, he's now won the Arc. Suave Dancer's got his revenge. More from him, from the whole team after this. The sweetness of victory. Suave Dancer and Cash Asmussen. Cash, 5 times champion of France, but he had never won the Arc. Here he is riding back. John Hammond, who said to him, don't get involved with any battles with Generous, take your time. And he said afterwards he never thought Cash would have the guts to drop him out so late. But Cash has got iron nerve and has had a most unbelievable reception coming back today. And don't forget, Cash bought this horse with his father as a yearling, and therefore has been centrally involved with his career right through. Sold him on to Henri Chaloub, his Lebanese owner, and with his hat off, the King of Longchamp has had the most wonderful reception. Cash, who came from Texas, top apprentice in New York, led the New York rankings, came to France and made the French tracks his own. Just listen to this. Mr. Shab and the owner. So there, Suave Dancer and John Hammond walking towards us, his trainer. Early days as a trainer, John, but the very pinnacle already.
That's
Congratulations.
wonderful. Absolutely thrilled, yeah.
We talked the other day and you said, well, you hoped he might be capable of doing it, but did you believe it could happen as sweetly as this?
I never wanted to believe it beforehand. I just wanted to see it.
And the idea was to come as late as that, was it?
Well, no, we discussed it before, and the one thing we didn't want to do was to just follow Generous. I said to Cash to ride his own race, depending on what pace they were going. And if we didn't get to the other horse, we didn't get to him, and I thought he rode a wonderful race.
How do you think the pace was too strong early on?
They went very, very, very fast. Cash said in the end he even ended up getting there a bit too soon.
And you've got beaten by Generous in the Irish Derby, but you've got revenge here very completely.
Yeah, it's the big one that matters. It's terrific.
Tell us about the horse, because he looks so good when he won in France. At his best, do you think there's anything that could beat him?
He's a very good horse. He's been slow maturing and he's got better as we've gone along. And the wonderful thing is we've just had so few problems with him. He's been a very easy horse to train, and Cash gets on with him very well. It's been wonderful, really. And it looks like he stays too.
Congratulations.
Thanks very much.
Stay in training, John.
And the steward's inquiry is already over. Suave Dancer is confirmed as the winner of the 70th Arc de Triomphe. The last show about him was 4.1 to 1 on the Paris Mutuelle. That was the last show. Magic Knight's last show was 10.2 to 1, and Pistolet Bleu, coupled with Arpleur, was a 6.8 to 1 chance. But as we said beforehand, Cash Asmussen in the catbird seat, how he pounced. But let's see a replay of the race to confirm the brilliance of Suave Dancer.
Yeah, once again, glorious moments, particularly for those who backed the horse. all those connected with him. The turn of foot, the familiar jink as he changes his legs. When he seems to hit top pace, for some reason, he just seems to change his lead. He's done that over the rails, no more than hands and heels, and a firm squeeze up to keep him going. Done it like a class horse. He really did look the part on French Derby Day back in the summer. Well, here on an autumn afternoon, equally beautiful. He's looked just as impressive a sight, but this time against far stronger opposition. And what are the vanquished? Well, let's look at them.
Alan, bitter disappointment. What happened?
There isn't really much to say from my end. We had a lovely position. Just turning for home, he was going as well as he ever has been. And he just ran out of gas. You know? I let go of him and he went from being a strong lion to as weak as a kitten. And he ambled his way to the line. You know? Very, very disappointing, you know, but it's been a long year, I guess.
Can you blame the draw at all?
No, the first furlong, you know, I was soon in command of that, you know. After we'd gone a furlong, I was in a nice position just tracking Jet Ski Lady. On top of the hill, he just faded away, and I came round. Quest of Fame's come with us, you know, and we're tracking a pacemaker, Pistol Bleu, and then it's us two, Quest of Fame and myself. And we just closed on the leader as the pace slowed, and yeah, everything was going right. It's just fell in the hole, you know.
So the 2 furlongs out, you were just where you wanted to be?
Oh, yes, you know, I mean, the ideal position turning for home, if he just produced his turn of foot that he usually has, then, well, I guess we would have been home and dry, you know. Taking no credit away from Suave, he's a true champion, and I'm really pleased to see him win, you know, seeing that I can't. So.
But it just shows a long season, the effects of a long season are invisible, aren't they?
It's incredible, really, because he's had the ideal preparation, you would think. He's had a good long break. He had 3 or 4 weeks in the box, well, out in the ring, you know, in the paddock. And then Mr. Cole brought him back. His weight came down, and it's, you know, he looked like being in peak condition. You would think that he wouldn't go over the top doing that, would you? But strangely enough, you know, he just seemed to run out of gas. So.
Alan, thanks very much. Very bad luck. We're all really sorry.
Yes, thank you very much. So am I.
Thanks.
Thanks.
No, it was not Generous Day. It was not to be. It was Suave dancing.
Again.
And with us, the hero of the hour, Cash Asmussen. As sweet a moment as you've ever had?
As sweet as I've ever had.
And how early did you think it was possible?
Well, when we were down the back, I was a little bit farther back than I wanted to be. I mean, I was in behind Snurge. Snurge wasn't following quite as well as I wanted him to. He was right on Generous's tail going up the back. Coming down the hill, we had a couple on the inside that were out. I did ease up a little bit behind in the groove coming into the false straight. When we come out of the false straight, eased him out to take a peek here. I'm a bit wide. We're just on the outer limit of the new track. We are a bit wide, but everybody on the inside's pretty much dead. When I did get there and take a look, saw how many people were off the bridle, I gave him 100 yards, 200 yards of fresh air. And then when I kicked on, he found what I wanted. I brought him back over to the rails. We were as far out as we wanted to be. I didn't want him to be running out on his own. We did have trouble here one time, but once I got down and went to work on him, he just left him for dead. I guess that kind of confirms that he does like the soft growing and he does stay the distance.
Cash, a brilliant day. Congratulations.